Alright, so let's go through the 50k training plan for 2022. So as you know, or maybe you don't know, but I am doing my second ultra marathon this year, 50k down at the Surf Coast Century, coming up on September 17th of 2022. Now, I'm going to be honest, when it comes to training plans and creating them or following them or, putting them together, it really does scare me. Like it scares the heck out of me because, I'm knowing that I'm going to be committing to something which, I'm investing a lot of time into it, and it's something that hopefully is going to bring me out to the other end with enough results and I guess enough training or lead up to then enable me to go conquer a challenge, right? And that's scary. It's like investing. It's like anything like that. And you want to think that you've done it right or that you're doing it right. And it can be a little odd putting your fate into the result of a plan, especially, this is still out of my comfort zone, doing this, an ultra marathon. Even though I've done one, it still scares the heck out of me. I think something that I'm comfortable with now that I can compare to is, doing a half marathon. I'm doing 2 every month, and it's something that I know where I need to speed up, slow down, how I can do that. I know what I need to train for and what's required of it. I've done it enough times. And I don't have to necessarily train for one to go do one. Maybe if I need to get a PB, that's a different conversation. But, that's the difference here. Going into the 50k, there's a lot of unknown. Am I doing it enough? And last year I did some of it during lockdown. And, I didn't get to do the elevation. I didn't get to do the trails. I didn't get to do some of these different things, which hopefully I'll get to do this year, which in short, should actually mean that I'm going to become even more prepared. But it's still really, really scary. So I want to be really honest with that. And this is a good metaphor and parallel for life as well. But if we don't have a plan, then the journey ahead would be, ridiculous, and it wouldn't work out, and it'll be all over the place. So here is my 50k training plan. And just to be clear, I've taken this actually what's been provided from the event. It is a shorter distance training. It's for a trail marathon, which is around 42 kilometers. So, there is going to be some little adjustments that I have to do along the way, and I probably will adjust it along the way as well. At the moment, I've kind of reflected back on what I did last year, which was an older version of the training plan. And, I've now taken the one that's been given to us from the race event and, adjusted it. And as I said, I'll probably still have to toggle it as I go, to spit in other races that I'm doing and events for trail running, to make sure I'm getting those distances and elevation in, but also, maximizing it in the best way possible to work in with my current working lifestyle and things like that, with the podcast and YouTube and reselling and all that, making sure that I'm getting the best bang for buck. So it may change along the way, and I may have to adapt, and but I'm used to that. Last year we had to change it. Last year it was going to be a 16-week plan. It went to 24 weeks, and then it went to 28 weeks because of lockdown and restrictions happening in the world at the point in time. So I'm comfortable with modifying it as I go if things aren't working and things aren't going as planned, but we'll have to just see how that goes on a weekly and on a regular basis, which I'll be reflecting on anyway. The 50k training plan is a total of 23 weeks. At the time of me actually filming this video, I've actually already done 2 runs. So, I will be releasing the videos about a week behind. So I'll already be a week ahead when you're seeing the week I release. And that's just for me to be able to keep up on time and, getting it documented and things like that. The estimated total kilometers of this training plan is, including the actual race day, which is 50 kilometers, it's actually 52. I should hit a minimum of 1,000 kilometers in this training plan. And I think the total time estimated will be a minimum of around 110 hours, which is interesting because that's roughly where I got in the last training plan. And that was over 28 weeks. The reason why I've done 23 weeks is it does give me 3 weeks buffer in there, potentially, giving me enough time to recover and get back into the groove if needed. Obviously, those buffers aren't built in terms of, I don't know when things won't go as planned, but it just gives me a little bit more wriggle room. I originally wanted it to be 25 weeks, but things happened and it just didn't work out that way. There will be a combo of, easy and hard runs. I guess I'll be doing everything in between from, the normal long runs, hill runs, trail runs, tempo runs, recovery runs, and I guess a few things in between, making sure that I am doing the cross training too, and the ongoing maintenance will be key obviously as well. But I think what I'll be trying to do is fit in 4 runs each week, and some of them will go up to 5. It will depend as I build back up that base. As I mentioned before, with the ongoing cross training and maintenance, yoga, stretching, strength training, they're all going to be key things to enable my mobility, agility, and strength as I progress through, and to help me keep showing up. Look, I guess the plan has been made in a way that is a bit conservative, as I guess the training is duration focused. It's not necessarily focused on distance. There will be some that are distance focused. However, as I said before, I will adjust it as I go if I feel like I need to be doing more long distance runs in terms of, total time and longer, 4 hours, 5 hours or whatever, or distance stuff as well. And I'm going to take you through in a second what all those details are. You've probably seen some stuff on screen already, but I want to share with you what that looks like, and just to give you a better understanding. In the green, what you can see on screen, and I'm starting from the top and I will scroll down. Look, if you want to read it, you can pause it. I don't think you can download this plan, the actual one that I've copied it from, because it was part of the purchase of the 50K training plan, but you can have a look. You can pause it, have a look. Now, what I've actually done is, for instance, week 1, it says easy jog, then it's got a moderate 45-minute aerobic run, then I've got a tempo run, 50-minute for Wednesday, then there's an easy gentle cross training on the Thursday. The Friday was another aerobic run, and then the Saturday it says a longer run, and then Sundays rest and passive recovery activities. Now, what I've actually done to my you probably won't be able to see it, but I've basically then remixed this, and I'll give you an example. So what week 1 actually looks like for me was 30 minutes was just kind of, it was rest, because I'm still building up a base. I didn't want to go in heavy, and I've kicked off 30-minute run, or 5K basically on the Tuesday. The Wednesday was rest, so just doing cross training or walking or whatever. Thursday I then I actually did the 50-minute hard run, the tempo session, which works out to be about 8 kilometers, but once again, not trying to focus on distance, but I am tracking the distance to time as well. Friday will be rest. At the time of me filming this is Thursday night, so I haven't done the other 2 runs, but Saturday will actually be that moderate run of about 45 minutes, which will work out to be about 7-8k, which was going to be the Friday in the actual plan. And then the run that was going to be the long run for the week, which was initially 75 minutes, I've actually made that half marathon. And the reason why is because I have a goal to do 2 half marathons every single month for the 12 months of 2022. So as you can see, I've already started to blend it and change it. Now, as I progress down the training plan into week 2, you can see in week 3, there's different things happening. We've got more tempo runs. We've got a lot of tempo runs. We've got long runs, 80 minutes, 90 minutes as we get into week 4. I'm not going to go week by week. You can see it here as I scroll down, but there will be some different varieties. And then what I'm doing is kind of using this as a guide to then remap what my week looks like, taking what I think makes sense, upping it, lowering it, changing it. There is runs such as mission runs, and the ideal of these is, you're doing a relaxed running around 80%, and then you aim to walk only 20% of it, to reduce risk, which usually is what happens when you're doing trail runs anyway. And, you want to do it like a race event, making sure you are taking race day nutrition and things like that. So a lot of this isn't new to me. Like, I'm pretty comfortable with it. I think the one thing where I will struggle with is the volumes, meaning, am I doing enough versus am I not doing enough? Or am I doing too much? And that's probably the thing that I feel like maybe I don't get right. But I mean, look, I mean, last year's plan worked really, really well, but it's hard to recreate that plan because it changed 3 times. So, this year I'm having to, once again, go out of my comfort zone and having to step it up. But, I also want to do a marathon during this period as well. I want to make sure I do put in a marathon, because I know the distance and the time will be key. Week 16, week 17, yeah, I think this is the one where I probably would do the marathon. That's meant to be my longest run, the longest duration, all that jazz for the training plans. Then we got week 18, week 19, and then we'll start to slow down a little bit. We're still doing 2-hour, 3-hour runs in this. We're still doing easy jogs, active recovery, doing some sharpening sessions, intervals. Back in week 19, there's a lot here. Week 21, there'll be certain challenges as I start to taper, just to help us slow down and not get so focused on the running, but doing, cross-training things and different stuff to keep us on our toes and our minds not stressing out. Week 22 and then week 23. Now, basically what I've done, as I said before, on another side of the screen, I've actually gone through and put what I think each week will look like. So from all this, that's how I've been able to kind of come up with that. From all this, I should reach around 1,000 kilometers in training. Average week distance will be around 43 kilometers. Some will be higher, some will be lower. And as I progress, I will be giving updates on this. I'm doing my usual dashboard, which I'll show you what it looks like at the point of this time. Tracking total kilometers, time on feet, average HR, average pace, elevation, runs. I've already done 2, and the dashboard will start to update as we progress through. So, this is still early days, of course, because I'm during week 1 at the moment, and you're hearing this as if it's week 0. So, plenty to go through, plenty to learn from. We'll adapt, we'll change, and of course, I'm happy for insight. I know people will give their thoughts anyway, and that's okay, and I will adjust it, and I'll take it if I want to, or I won't. But it's always interesting to hear what other people are saying. I've done this before, so I do have some level of understanding, and I know my body. At the moment, I'm feeling pretty tired, so I'm having to just be mindful of that as I'm starting to ramp up, which is why I've started slow. In terms of, I didn't do a 5 or a 6 day week at the start. I'm, just keeping it to the 4, because I'm just wanting to make sure that I am easing back into it after having to go into isolation and things before starting this. So a couple of things that I will be doing is I'll be doing the trail running series, which basically, the long runs of those, it's 5 runs between 18 and 24 kilometers. They will be kind of like, good example runs or test runs of this situation. Hopefully I'll be able to go down to Anglesey and do some of the legs down there to actually get a teaser and taste, I guess a taste test or a warm up my mind and everything of the actual race trail. Obviously I've ran it before, but getting closer to it, I'd love to be able to do a refresher. So there are a couple of things that I will be touching on and looking at to see how I can do this. Yes, Carla is also doing this. Her plan will be slightly different. She's still making sure she's fully 100% recovered from her injury, and then she'll be starting to ramp up, and she is doing this event as well, like last time. So super excited, super nervous, a lot of things going through my mind. But if anything, I love documenting this. I love sharing the journey, and come along for the ride, right? I know some people I've already been chatting to. If you are doing this for the first time, let me know in the comments. If you're doing it and you've done it before, let me know in the comments. And maybe you're just, doing something else, or, you're just enjoying it. Let me know. I really do appreciate those that do hang out and, watch these episodes, because they do take a lot of time. And, feedback's always welcome as well. So appreciate you guys being here. Looking forward to the journey ahead. It's going to be a nice solid 23, 24 weeks, by the time you guys see everything. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do another 50k. Let's do another ultra. Yeah, I'm smiling because it's all starting to sink in and how surreal it is. So that's it. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button. If you want to come along for the ride, make sure you are subscribed. Hit the notification bell. And if you do want to support the channel, I'm going to put it out there. I do have memberships here as well, and you can, sign up and support, and that does go a long way to keep the lights on, and, how I give back to the community with all the other things that I do as well, live streams and all that. So, yep, appreciate being here. You have a wonderful day. Cheers.